Hello, everybody. This is Slightly Dramatic. I am your host, Cheryl Vanessa Martis, and this is going to be my seventh episode. We're going to speak about today is one of my favorite. Is this even on? Oh my god, I always say that this is not on. We're going to speak about one of my favorite movies. And before I tell you what that movie is, I'm also going to speak about what are my hits, fails, and my rage for this week. Now we're gonna start with the fail. I was incredibly sick the previous week. Like, really, really sick. I got admitted into the hospital and it was really dramatic. And it's not funny. It's not funny, guys. I know, like, so I'm someone who will say something pretty serious and then I will crack a joke about it and make it look like it's like a normal thing. But then when I think about it, I'm like, that was actually not funny. Like, why am I making it sound cute? It's not cute to be on IV and to be injected 1,000 times and then to be told that you had 200% bacteria in your blood like some swamp princess. What? It was not cool. I was incredibly sick and it sucked. It really sucks because when you're alone, like I'm completely fine like living by myself. I love my living situation. I love that I have whatever I have, it's going on for me. But when you fall sick, you're just like, man, maybe I should get into the dating pool. Just for the times that I'm sick or something. No, but I mean, it's not about dating. It's not about like having a partner. It's also just having people around you. People who can be there for you. Like it really sucked being alone in the hospital, and it's incredibly scary as well because you're just around so many people who also like probably have it worse, okay, but like it's not about comparison. It's just it's just really fearful. Like it makes you feel even more sick than you need to. Like there was a red alert early in the morning, the with the bed right next to me, so that was really scary. Like I could not sleep after that and I was just like, girl, I just want to go home. So yeah, it was not a nice week. It sucked. It genuinely. I'm not gonna make jokes about it because that's what I'm trying to do. Not make jokes about my misery anymore. I think that's something that I really want to work on because I really feel like anything that happens that's actually quite upsetting to me, I'll be like, ha ha. But you know what? That's life vibes. Because I don't want to like make it seem too serious and like I just can't speak about it in a serious way. So that's something I guess I'm working on, but that was a big fail. Apart from that, what was a big hit? There are so many hits, I cannot even begin, but I will. I booked my tickets to Turkey. I'm going on a solo trip to Turkey. I don't know. I mean, I was thinking about it. I was trying to do it last year as well, but I could not because, I was just not in the mindset to go to a whole different country and like relax in my life. I was like, no, I gotta like get my shit together. And then I got my shit together. I'm like, okay, it's 2026. Now what? Like, what's your excuse? So I went ahead, I booked my tickets, and I'm going in April for my birthday. Absolutely amazing. I am so excited. For some reason, this feels quite natural. Like it feels like this was bound to happen anyways. It doesn't feel like, oh my god, I'm going to do this for the first time. Maybe when it comes closer to the date, I'll be feeling a little more like anxious because like it is kind of scary to go alone and I am quite afraid about it. So I'm just thinking about like all the safety precautions that I could be thinking of. But also I'm I'm really excited about it. Like I'm super excited about it. The next thing is I got BTS concert tickets. Me and my friends got BTS concert tickets. Now, for whoever doesn't know who BTS is, womp. But if you do know who BTS is and you don't like them, means you have not actually heard their music. Also, I don't know, man. I don't care if you like them or not, but like we got BTS tickets, and trust me, the that was practically impossible. The whole idea, I was like, we are not getting tickets. We'll see what happens. The tickets in London got sold out in like 30 minutes, and we got them in like 15 to 20 minutes, which was absolutely amazing. So I'm super excited for BTS. So I've got that going on for me as well. A rage. A rage. Um, Nothing really pissed me off. There were things that upset me this week. I mean, the previous week. But it was more so towards. It's the usual thing. It's men. But yeah, I mean that. Uh, yeah, someone that I had gone on a second date with, it did not he did not follow the script. Yeah, like stick to the script. Hello, but they don't. So that fell through, and that was quite upsetting. But it's okay. We power through. But it's rage is always gonna be that department. Everything else is just gonna be like whatever. So that's my hit, fail, and rage. Now back to the topic. I'm gonna speak about. So I'm sure everyone has like a favorite movie. I'm sure that everyone has a certain movie that they really love. Now, I'm not speaking about franchises like Harry Potter and Star Wars and Avengers and things like that. Like, I mean, I guess these are really, I mean, of course, these are really popular ones. And then if you had to go like, I don't know, man, what are these very classic, these Oscar winning movies and all that? Please, like, okay, yeah, they're great, they're amazing and all of that, but spare me, man, please. Like, so either ways, if that's your favorite, that's your favorite. If you like Inglorious Bastards, amazing, good news for you. But like, also, I feel like these are just very. It's commercial, you know. It's like saying you like Sheeran. Of course, you like Ed Sheeran. He's so sweet, and his songs are so cute. You know. I feel like someone's favorite movie is a huge tell on them, and someone's favorite show is also a huge tell on them. So, like for me, especially if you're going to meet someone for the first time and then you're discussing movies and shows, I think it's really telling about a person if they tell me they like, I don't know, like if they say they like Blood Diamond or something, I'd be like, you man, like I don't think I could have a serious conversation. Like I don't think I could converse with a person with a guy who says he likes Blood Diamond as his favorite movie or Inglorious Bastards as his favorite movie. Like it's a good movie, yes, but favorite movie? Really? Like imagine that's the depth of his liking for movies. I don't know, but I mean, I don't know if people are gonna understand this, but either ways, now I'm a person who really does like I don't mind any genre as long as the movie's good, right? But like there's this one particular, like as growing up we have watched like a lot of romantic movies, and growing up we also tend to romanticize our life because of it, I guess. And I don't know if this is a gendered thing, but regardless of that, I have watched a lot of romantic movies growing up, and I have been a fan. I am a hopeless romantic. That is what it is. I am a hopeless romantic, and it's quite pathetic to be honest, because romance at a level of movies does not really exist. It's like no one's gonna come out of my house. Okay, also like I'm too old for that shit now, but no one's gonna come out of my house in the middle of the night and be like, I really want to talk to you. And they're gonna be holding cue cards outside or like a boom box outside, and like that shit does not happen. Like I don't know if it happened like back in the day when these movies were made, but that shit does not happen. And there's such an exaggerated way of showing romance, right? Like for example, there's this recent movie that came out which was The People We Meet on Vacation. And it's really weird because this girl has not even met this guy on vacation. They met through a common friend and they were traveling to the same location, so they were like, we'll travel together. So I don't even know what she's talking about, but okay, fine, whatever. And then it's 2025. Okay, it's 2026. Okay. And they have had this friendship where they're traveling together like once every year. They travel to this random country, and and they have feelings for each other, but they're pretending they're not, or whatever, friends to lovers kind of trope. And at the end of the movie, it's like raining super heavy. And he goes like, I don't want to be a fucking friend, Poppy. I want to be a boyfriend. Shut the. You know? Like, as much as I'm a hopeless romantic, I feel like I've been slapped on the face enough number of times to know that that shit does not happen, bro. Like, I think all of us can sit here and be like, I want that to happen. Like, give me my crazy confession. Like, shows like Bridgerton and stuff, they give you like this huge hope of what love could look like. But in reality, that's not the case. And the reason I'm speaking about this is because I do love romantic movies. However, the one that I actually love the most are the ones that are actually really based on real love and like real rawness of what love could look like and how connection is built in a very realistic sort of way. And the movie is a trilogy. It's called Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and before After Midnight, or Before Midnight. I think it's Before Midnight. Yeah, because it's before trilogy. So the whole thing about the movie is it's crazy. Okay, so it's such it there's so much irony to this because I'm speaking about how raw this whole how not romantic this movie is. Like, it's not meant to be a loud romantic movie. It's meant to be a really grounded, subtle, a very realistic view of what two people connecting could look like, right? But the backstory of the movie is really intense. So the director who made this movie actually did meet a woman whose name is Amy back in the 1990s, and he had this amazing conversation with her. And because he had this amazing conversation with her, it was back in the 90s. They didn't have technology, they didn't exchange numbers and so on, so they didn't really get into those conversations of let's keep in touch. But after they departed of their one day of getting to know each other, he thought about her a lot and he thought about the conversations a lot. And so he directed and produced this movie called Before Sunrise. And this was filmed in 1995. The character's name is Celine and Jesse, and they both meet in Vienna and they get off the train. They just randomly decide to get off the train together and spend the whole day together. So this was around, the director had a similar experience. And to be honest, for a hopeless romantic, considering this is real life, that this man in real life has made a movie to find this woman who he spent like a day in Philadelphia with. That is romantic. And but the movie, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, there is such a contrast to speaking about I don't believe in romance that is portrayed in movies. But then this man in real life has actually done one of the most romantic things to find this woman. Ultimately, after a couple of years, he gets a phone call from this woman's sister, and the woman's sister tells him that she actually passed away a year after the movie was released, or around that time, and she got into a car accident. And the producer director continued making this movie every 9 years, so that kind of shows the development of the characters and the development of their relationship as well. And I think this is one of the most raw and the most realistic portrayal of what love actually is, in terms of how the connection can develop, how two people from being strangers can actually become something more than that. And it's in such a grounded manner. It's not loud, it's not crazy, it's not, it's very realistic. That is what the movie is gonna be about. Now, if there were a few things about the movie that I really if I had to get into like the characters' depth, both of these characters are around the age of 23, 24, and he's American. She is French. Yeah, she's French. And the thing about the characters is they are very different. Obviously, they are very different in the sense that he is a bit more cynical, he's more realistic, he doesn't romanticize things, and he's not very emotionally, like, he doesn't relate everything. Very practical, logical, cynical sort of guy, like your typical man. And then you have your typical woman, Celine, who is also very, she's very emotional, she's very in her fields, she likes to feel through things and she likes to understand things, and she sees life in a much more, I want to say, rose tinted glasses, but also she romanticizes life a bit more. I don't want to use the term rose tinted glass because I feel like that's really different. You use that in a very different context, and I don't think this is what she does, but she does view life with a certain yearning. Like, there's a certain love that she and hope. She's quite hopeful. She's quite hopeful as a person. She's grounded, she's hopeful, she's thoughtful, and she's sweet at the same time. So these two personalities are very different, of course, and it gives a very yin and yang sort of contrast to both the personalities, which is I think generally what they say is opposites attract. So these two characters do come together, and the beauty of the movie is from the moment they meet, it's like I said, it's not loud, but the way these actors have connected, the way these characters speak to each other, and the way they look at each other is just, it feels so real. Like you can, it's like, anytime you meet a person for the first time and you feel some sort of attraction, or let's say you go on a first date and uh, you have this sort of tension built up in you, and you're excited but you're nervous, and you have this sort of awkwardness when you meet the person, and you don't know what really to speak about, but you're like trying to make this conversation, so you're trying to gauge like maybe the most random things, or you're just trying to like say the most random stories, and you're hoping that the person sort of responds in a certain manner. So the way they portray this is just absolutely stunning. These two actors, I don't know what they have done in terms of like the chemistry test, because these two like absolutely passed. Like their chemistry is so realistic. It's so natural. You don't feel like you for me it felt like as if these guys have to be improvising. Like these guys are genuinely just walking on the street right now and they're having these conversations, but no, these dialogues were actually written, and they were practiced on how they are going to be delivered throughout, to make sure that it was the feel of that was just as authentic as it would be to anyone who's actually experiencing these things in life, which I thought was absolutely stunning. So in the moment, the few things that I really did like about the movie is, number one, it's the thing that the both of these characters are really different, right? There's, like I said, yin and yang, and they speak to each other about each and like so many different things. Like basically when you meet someone and you're interested in them, you kind of greet that interest with a lot of curiosity, and yeah, you're curious, but also there comes to a point where you can be curious. There's a way to be curious, okay? Like you're asking questions, but you're also listening to what the person says, because you actually want to know what the person is saying and you want to understand. You're not saying it in a way to debate the person, like debate this conversation, but you're trying to understand, and then you're trying to share your own experience with this person. So there is like a conflict in, not conflict, but there is a certain challenge to what the person thinks, but it's not in a way of that they're trying to debate, but they're trying to just understand each other, at the same time listen each other and comprehend what they're saying, and also like show compassion towards their experiences. they they have this curiosity for each other, and they speak about love, they speak about their first crush, they speak about the first time they fell in love, they speak about feminism, they speak about the government, they speak about the people that they meet, and how when the relationships that they have with their families and their parents and what that looks like, and so on, and I think uh, there is, when you're younger, when you're of that age, when you're in your 20s and when you're in your early 20s, you meet someone and you're curious about them, it's very easy to have these conversations. I'm not saying very easy, like it happens so many times, but it happens quite a lot more than it happens when you're in your 30s maybe, or when you become a little more cynical, and you go through certain experiences in life that makes you a bit more closed off. But when you're young and you meet someone, and you have these conversations, there's just so much beauty to it, to be able to like actually have your guard down and have these conversations. And I have a lot of regard for the way they have portrayed this, because I think even when it comes to experience, I have met people in my life who I have connected with at a certain level, where conversation just felt like it was flowing. Like it was just such a natural thing to be having certain conversations, and there was just no judgment. There was no like, I'm having this conversation with you to tell you how to live your life. Like, I've had conversations with people where people will literally listen to you, not to understand you, but to like prove you wrong and then advise you on what you should do better in life. But trust me, I am of the mindset that nobody wants advice. Nobody needs advice. Okay? And if somebody is really messed up and they're taking like really stupid decisions, you as a person are allowed to leave this person in their misery, okay? But apart from that, if your friend is going through some shit, it's your job to meet them where they are. And it's your job to just listen to them. Just listen to them, let them crash out, let them do the stupid thing. But nobody wants advice. And so just imagine if you had to meet someone and you think, oh, cute, okay, attractive, let's go, let's get to know this person. And this person starts advising you. And they just met you. Who are you? Why? Okay, not to get personal, not to get personal. I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but you get what I mean, right? Like the whole conversation between these two characters was not to advise each other but to actually understand each other. And I really love the way they showcase that throughout the movie. Like throughout the movie, and to have the depth of that conversation happens, I think, only at certain points in your life. And then when you grow older, it happens lesser and lesser, and it sucks. In a way, I feel like we are always looking to have these conversations with people, but it honestly becomes a lot more harder. And yeah, it really portrays what being young, naive, open to life, open to experiences, and open to conversation can really look like, in your early 20s. And I absolutely love that about the movie. The next thing is, another thing I think about this movie is that it doesn't. So I'm of the mindset of not leaving things to what ifs. Having said that, I've left a few things to what ifs. Actually, no. Like, I mean, I really have to think about it. But also, the movie kind of goes to show that don't leave things up to chance. Because so in the beginning of the movie, when they first start speaking to each other, they actually just happen to be reading their books, and there was this couple fighting, and then he looks at her and he says, do you know what this couple is saying? And then he starts asking her about the book, and then he invites her to the lounging area, and they go and they have a conversation. And then when he's getting off, he comes back to her and he says, listen, I have one day in Venice. You're here. You can take the next train in the morning or whatever. I'm just going to be walking around. I enjoyed our conversation. Let's just keep this going. We don't need to, like, I'm just enjoying my company with you right now. And then she thinks about it, and then he gives her this huge line about, just imagine a few years down the line, you're married and you're miserable with your husband, and you think back about this time when you're 23, and you think about me and the guy you met, and you always think about what if, but you didn't take that chance. And she's like, okay, fine. And I love that concept, because you know what, I really feel like I don't have any more what ifs in life. Like, I genuinely don't. So I'm at a point in my life where everything's a clean slate for me. Like, there's no point where I'll be like, oh, but imagine that worked out 10 years ago. But I don't need to think that, because I never left it to chance. Like, if I felt like I wanted to get to know someone, I have given that a fair chance. You know, there have been times where I knew my limit, and I'm like, nah, you're, let it be. You are okay not being known. It's okay. You're never gonna be a what if, so that's fine. But I have not left things up to chance. I don't like the concept of what ifs. I don't like the idea of being in the future and thinking, what if I had done that. And I'm not just speaking about romantic situations here, right? I'm also speaking about just generally in life. There have been a lot of things in my life where I thought, I should be doing this and I should be doing that, and at some point I have given it a chance. So I don't have a doubt that, oh, what if I had actually done this when I was this age, because I have at some point in my life have tried to do that thing, even if it was momentarily for that 1 week that I tried to do this one baking thing and it didn't come out and I gave up. Okay, but I tried. So I don't have the question of what if in my life. I try not to leave things up for chance. And yeah, I think this is a very, especially when it comes to connections, i'm I'm a huge hopeless romantic, and I think I'm gonna continue being a huge hopeless romantic, and I really feel if I connect it with someone, or if I find someone's cute at this point, or if I'm interested in someone, I would I would give that a chance. Like I don't want to leave anything up to chance, basically. And this movie is a very good portrayal of that, because it kind of shows what is the possibility if you do take up the chance of getting to know someone as a normal person and so on, you know? So I really like that about the movie as well. So the next point is there okay okay, this is not a third point about the movie specifically, but also an observation that I did make is leaving yourself open up, giving you a chance. Wait, let me look at this point properly, okay? Staying open to opportunity. You know, lately I've been thinking about this whole thing. Now, this movie was in the 1995. It was around the night. It was made in 1995. That's what I'm saying. And the thing is, back then there was no phones. There was no. You probably just had to read a book or the newspaper on the train, and you people had an opportunity to like sort of approach you, or you had the opportunity to sort of gauge with the people around you. You know, and people did, I believe, take more chances, because I don't know, maybe what do you had to lose or whatever, but I feel like in this generation we are just so connected to our phones, and we have our earphones on all the time, and we are just like, let's say, even for example, like if I'm walking on the street, I have my earphones on, and if I see someone else with their earphones on, I'm not necessarily going to approach them. Like, we could have eye contact, but I could be like, man, but you have your earphones on, like, you know. So I really feel like you need to stay open to the opportunity of things happening to you, but you also need to allow them to happen to you. And I think it's been a couple of months since I realized this, but now, not that anyone has ever approached me, okay, since, because hey, you can't just change one thing overnight and have one realization and then your whole world shifts. Maybe it does, most probably it does not, I don't know. But also, because of this realization, I have stopped listening to music unless I really do not want to like be occupied with anyone. If I go into town, I'm not on my earphones. If I go into London, I'm not on my earphones, you know. And like, I'm always sort of like trying to smile at people. It is hard, okay, because nobody does that anymore. So it can come very close to being creepy in like 2026, as to back then probably it was not as creepy. It's your normal human interaction, but human interaction has changed so drastically. And again, coming back to my point is that you need to open yourself up to opportunities of this happening. And you know, in the way that we are living, like, I'm on Hinge, okay, and it sucks ass, bro. Like, I kid you not, I absolutely hate the app. I have tried every year. Once every year I'll be like, I want to get back on Hinge, let's see what's out there. And then I'm like, yuck, this is disgusting. And it's not about the guys being bad. Like, the dates that I have gone on Hinge, these guys have been good guys, decent guys, okay? But it's just that the profiles are just so superficial, right? Like, even when I look at my own profile, I'm like, this is not me, man. Like, what do you mean? Sunday, typical Sunday. Like, okay, like, there are certain things that are very honest, but I also feel like this is such a limited image of me. And also, like, let's say if you chat with someone, it's just too much effort, like, to chat with someone and it goes great on chat, and then I have to go all the way to London to meet someone and it does not even hit off well. What is the point? Like, is it really worth that effort? So I'm just not a Hinge person. And then when you realize that, oh my god, if not Hinge, how am I actually going to meet someone? You know, if I'm walking around with my headphones 24/7, if I'm not trying to make conversation, if I'm not the one who's also like putting out that, hey, I'm interested in you, how am I actually going to meet someone? And you know, this movie kind of I just recently watched this movie just so that I could make the podcast again. I watched it recently in the sense that it was a repeat watch. I watched this 10,000 times. But also, it was kind of a reminder for me that, yeah, you need to like put yourself out there more. Like, if you miss having connections so much, and if you felt like you had so much connection when you were younger, you kind of have to give yourself the chance, even when you're older, to build those connections with people. So the more I withdraw and the more I put on my earphones and walk around in my own little bubble, I am always going to be in my own little bubble. But if I want a connection like this, I'm gonna have to put myself out there. So that, I guess, this movie does give you a reality check. Anyways, that is what the movie is about, and it's, I 100% recommend this movie to everyone. I A lot of people don't end up watching it, and actually, you know what? I don't recommend this movie to a lot of people. I'm recommending it now, but when I if someone asks me my favorite movie and I had to tell them this, I'll be like, I don't know if you're gonna like it, because for me, I like I love the idea of being able to have conversation with someone. I love the idea of just having constant, I'm not saying constant communication, I'm talking about conversation. Like, to be able to always have a certain, I'm someone who overthinks, I'm someone who introspects a lot, I'm someone who thinks about circumstances in my life, and I journal a lot. Okay, so like it's a combination of things. So I love the idea that if I were to have a partner in my life, or if I had to like live the rest of my life with someone, it has to be with someone who can have conversation, and who can listen, and who can understand, who's listening to understand rather than debate me. And that's why I have so much respect for this movie. Of course, there's a lot of changes in like the next two parts of the movies and so on, but they still go to show like a very realistic, um I mean, a sort of relationship that I'm in a way kind of hoping for, and in a way that I kind of admire connection to look like, or to be built like. So I don't easily recommend this movie to everyone. I do feel like it's a movie, not, it may be slow to a lot of people. I think it may be something that's very it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I feel like if I do find someone who has watched this movie, I absolutely would. I would be over the moon. I'd be like, what are your thoughts? Oh my god. Is he the one? Yeah, I can get pretty delusional like that, but then, which, whatever. Those are my thoughts on the movie. Those are my thoughts on the whole sense of why I love this movie. And, I really do think everyone should watch it. It is a amazing, amazing, amazing romantic movie. The actors are exceptional. The detail, every single detail, from the looks to the gestures, to the hand movements, and the conversations. It's honestly breathtaking. I cannot, I wish, I need to like widen my vocabulary, because I'm gonna need to use more words than these. There's just no better way of putting it. And yeah, so this is my seventh episode, and I'm so happy that it is almost done. I have four more episodes. Oh my god, another win, by the way, for last week is that I started posting the pictures for the teasers for the podcast, and it's quite exciting. I was quite nervous about it. I've just done my second image today, and I'm very awkward about, I'm not the most confident person when it comes to photos, and to like put up pictures of a photo shoot that I did in my own room by myself, and like to be all posy, it's just not something that I'm very confident in myself about. And so to put that out there, it did take a lot, but I'm so glad I did it. I really do feel that it's something really exciting for me. So that's another win for me. Like I said, there's just so many wins this week. And yeah, thank you so much for listening again. I am Sharol Vanessa Martis, and this is Slightly Dramatic. Do not forget to be slightly dramatic in life, because listen, listen, it's getting pretty boring out there. Okay, so just be a bit slightly dramatic. It hurts no one. If you want to crash out, crash out. If you want to have a love confession, go have a love confession. If you want to, if you want to, oh my god, what else do people do? I don't know. But be slightly dramatic. Thank you very much. I will see you for the next episode. Good night.